December 31st, 1976. Clovis, California. H. Herndon and Peach Avenue. The night was meant for celebration. But for Martin "Crazy Horse" Lewis, it ended in flames. A car spins out of control. Tires scream, metal collides with asphalt, glass explodes. Flames shoot into the black sky. Inside, 26-year-old Crazy Horse is trapped, his body engulfed, motionless. 6 months of freedom. Survived decades of brutality. Survived San Quentin's bloodiest prison wars. Survived the unthinkable, switching gangs, breaking the so-called unbreakable code of loyalty. And yet, on this night, freedom proves fatal. Was it merely an accident, or vengeance from a world he thought he'd escaped? Origins of a Predator, March 24, 1950. Fresno, California. Martin "Batty" Lewis Jr. is born into a city divided along race and class. A Native American in a predominantly white and Hispanic suburb, he grows up on the edges of two worlds, already learning to survive. By age 15, the California Youth Authority has its grip on him. His first violent acts are recorded not as anomalies, but as proof of a pattern that would define him. Predator over prey. Dominance over the powerless. In 1965, at Preston School of Industries, the system claims him. Within its walls, a hierarchy forms. Predators thrive, prey suffer. Crazy Horse aligns himself quickly, his willingness to inflict violence making him an early standout. By 1968, a single assault at a Fresno swimming pool signals the start of a career defined by blood and strategy. Rise within the Aryan Brotherhood. By 1969, Crazy Horse is in San Quentin, now a hardened young man. The Aryan Brotherhood, was founded just 5 years prior, recruits him, not for ideology, but for one simple reason: power. The gang is small, less than 100 men, but violent beyond measure. Their motto: blood in, blood out. Once you kill for them, leaving is impossible. Crazy Horse proves himself immediately. Tattoos of shamrocks, swastikas, and the number 666 mark his skin. They signal allegiance and the promise of deadly retribution. He inherits enemies: Black Guerrilla family members, Nuestra Familia members, anyone standing in the path of the Brotherhood's control. By 1972, an alliance forms between the Aryan Brotherhood and the Mexican Mafia, La Ime, white and brown against black. This alliance, born of profit and power rather than loyalty or race, becomes the framework for the next chapter of Crazy Horse's life. The Mexican Mafia connection. Enter Martin "Keto" Vargas, a Fresno homeboy, a future Mexican Mafia-made man. Keto knows Crazy Horse from before prison. Both were young, both were violent, but their allegiances differ. The Mexican Mafia controls California's prison system from the inside, specializing in methamphetamine trafficking, extortion, and murder for hire. Their power extends into every yard, every cell, every corridor of San Quentin. By 1973, Crazy Horse reconnects with Keto. The friendship is more than nostalgia, it's opportunity. Keto sees something in Crazy Horse that no one else does: loyalty to a cause beyond ideology, a willingness to survive and thrive under impossible conditions. He petitions the Mexican Mafia leadership to sponsor Crazy Horse. A Native American leaving the Aryan Brotherhood for La Ime, unprecedented. Impossible, dangerous, and yet it begins to take shape. The impossible defection. Crazy Horse approaches the Aryan Brotherhood leadership. Blinky Griffin, Barry Mills, Danny Kavanaugh, the men who control the deadly organization, deliberate. One no vote and Crazy Horse is dead. The rules of blood in, blood out cannot be bent. And yet, after long discussion, a unanimous decision is made. Crazy Horse is allowed to abdicate his membership, to leave the Brotherhood, to join La Ime. On the other side, Keto's sponsorship secures him a new identity: Caballo, Spanish for horse. Blood in, Blood Out is suspended, just for him. The first and only documented case of a sanctioned gang transfer in California prison history. Cavallo is housed in maximum security, isolated, closely monitored. He can't walk the main yard. He can't mingle with the general population. But he's Mexican Mafia now. And in the violent hierarchy of San Quentin, this is both a badge of honor and a death sentence waiting in the wings. San Quentin, baptism by blood, December 8, 1974. San Quentin, East Block. The Mexican Mafia is at war with the Black Guerrilla family over unpaid drug debts. Cavallo sits in on meetings, observing, learning. On December 19th, a full-scale race war erupts. Stabbings, beatings, and chaos unfold across the yard. Convicts die within minutes. Cavallo survives, proving himself not through ideology, but through mastery of survival, loyalty, and brutal efficiency. He walks into a dining hall as a former Aryan Brotherhood soldier. He walks out baptized into La M, his reputation cemented in blood. Freedom, but only for a moment. By 1976, California reforms sentencing laws. Cavallo qualifies for parole. He returns to Clovis, back to the streets where his life began. 6 months of freedom. 6 months where every street, every glance, every unknown face carries the potential for danger. Authorities never fully determine what he does during this time. Was he involved in Keto Vargas's bank heist with Aryan Brotherhood ally Barry Mills? Was he laying low? Or did he continue in the shadows, navigating the treacherous web of alliances he barely survived in prison? The final act. December 31st, 1976. New Year's Eve. Cavallo drives alone, or so the reports say. The car skids, collides with a disposal truck. Fire erupts. Flames consume the vehicle. By the time first responders arrive, he is gone. No toxicology report, no full accident reconstruction, no witnesses willing to speak. Was it a random accident? A miscalculation? Or had the gangs he once called family finally delivered justice for leaving one empire for another? The truth remains buried, like him, in the ashes of a violent life. Legacy of violence and power. Crazy Horse's story is not just a biography. It is a lens into the hidden architecture of gang power in California. The Aryan Brotherhood and Mexican Mafia were not merely groups of criminals. They were structured, organized, political forces. They recruited the violent, controlled territories inside and outside prison walls, manipulated money flows, weapons, and even law enforcement in ways the public could never see. His life exposes the fragility of alliances, the extremes of loyalty, and the brutal consequences of challenging a system that thrives on fear. Gangs like these operate like shadow governments, where one misstep, one slight, or one perceived betrayal can end your life instantly. Aftermath and reflection. Barry Mills rises within the Aryan Brotherhood, eventually sitting on the three-man federal commission that governs the gang nationwide. Keto Vargas's fate is obscured by time and secrecy. The alliance between AB and La M deteriorates. The code that allowed a single man to switch gangs is never repeated. But Crazy Horse's story endures, a stark reminder of how violence, power, and survival intersect. One man's attempt to navigate both worlds ends in fire, but the systems he survived, San Quentin, La M, the Aryan Brotherhood, continue. Their legacy of control, influence, and fear persists to this day. A Native American, a former Aryan Brotherhood soldier, a Mexican Mafia recruit, a survivor of blood wars, a man who defied the rules, 6 months of freedom, one car crash. The streets don't forgive, the gangs don't forgive, and perhaps the system never did either. Martin Crazy Horse Lewis, born March 24, 1950, died December 31, 1976. A mist appearing for a moment and vanishing, yet leaving behind a trail of questions about loyalty, power, and the human cost of survival.